Welcome into Downtime. It's that special wild card night where we bring in two local media pundits in good standing mostly, and I give my opinion on some things and we get theirs. Andy Hatchadurian is the editor of the Daily Local News in Westchester, and Robert Strauss is a contributor to Jersey Man magazine. We often have Ken Dunnick on. It's a great magazine, and the New York Times and other publications. He's the author of Daddy's Little Goalie, this book that we've been talking about with females in sports. And the book that you might be writing on, you told us during the break, is about pre-retirement, pre-retiring.
Right.
Andy's counting down the day. We're thinking about retirement.
He's younger than me, so
exactly.
I mean,
but what is pre-retirement?
Okay, well, here's the story. I wrote a story for the Times. Times often has a retirement section, periodically. And they asked me to write a story because they found out that I started refereeing basketball and girls lacrosse. And I said, well, I'm doing it to sort of pre-retire. So I found other people who were doing these things. So it's sort of like preparing for retirement. Things, like what I do. I can't make enough money refereeing, but you know, in my retirement, I'll have prepared for it. My father-in-law he worked for Ford, and he got done and he was bored. And after about a year, he went back to work at the golf course as a starter. Mm-hmm. Once again, not making much money, but he got golfing privileges, a little bit on the side, something to do. So that's, and the book is supposed to be called Next, and like Nextly.
Now, is this a baby boomer thing here? It's a baby boomer.
Well,
baby boomers are different. I'm a baby boomer, of course. We hold ourselves out to be. You've seen the ads. Yeah. You're going to be hot air ballooning over the Himalayas when you're 92 because you're a baby boomer. Right, and you're going to be Botoxing as you're coming down.
But frankly, you're going to be a starter at the golf course.
Right, exactly. That's the way it's going to go. So, but people are, I think, this generation, because of lifespan, et cetera, not wanting to just be idly by. There is a movement toward that. So pre-retiring is getting your feet wet.
Yeah. Another friend of mine is an emergency room doctor, and he started to end that, and he just put out his first CD of being a singer-songwriter. So once again, something you've always wanted to do, didn't have, either didn't have the talent perhaps, but certainly wasn't going to make you enough money. So now you can make a little bit of money because you might still need a little bit of money, but you need something to do that's better than,
Andy, how about you? Any pre-retirement goals?
Well, I referee as you do, but a little different sport. But it's with ice hockey,
Okay.
And with 4 kids and 2 or 3 of them still dabbling in college, it's going to be a long time before I'm retiring.
No, you referee hockey, so we'll give you a hockey cred here. The Flyers. I mean, I've interviewed Ed Snyder a couple times. I like him a lot. But you talk about a team of Stepford fans. It goes back to 1974-75, the last time they won the championship, and yet they don't have the disgruntled fan that the other sports would have at all.
We in sort of the sports, we call it sort of an illness. I mean, we're addicted to hockey. We don't care if they, we follow them no matter what. They put out what they like to say, they put out a great product every year, and in fact they do. They spend millions and millions of dollars. We haven't had a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but aren't they wrong though? I mean, look at the Russian goal. I like them because I don't get a lot of hockey in general talk radio. But when the guy's attacking Philadelphia and people on welfare, and he's making $8 million a year, and he's a minor disgrace, it's pretty interesting.
And it's probably somebody who never should have been here in the first place. They sort of had their warning shots fired on him, but they brought him in anyway because the boss told them to get a goalie. We need a goalie.
And that's one of the things I do like to talk about. And I'll give you a couple. People that were brought into Philadelphia, and you've covered a lot of sports, and they talk about coming into New York to Yankee Stadium, Yankees or whatever. You come here to Philadelphia, you got to realize there's a certain mindset. These people are not LA type of fans. They're going to be on you if they feel there's not real effort. So who are some of the people you've seen? Mike Schmidt, you said toward the end of his career, started to get it.
Yeah.
But early on, he wasn't because it came too easy to him.
Perhaps he, nobody told him to do any differently. Well, I'll tell you one story. My daughter's boyfriend was up from Atlanta this weekend. He'd never been north of Washington. I bought him tickets to yesterday's game, and he wore his Atlanta jersey and his Atlanta hat. And I said, I said, it's a good thing you're with a 5-foot-tall girl because otherwise abuse would be rained down.
Abuse on the Phillies thing. If he had done it with the Eagles, he'd be dead right now.
He'd be dead,
He wouldn't be on the show tonight. You'd be making arrangements, taking the body back to Atlanta. Yeah.
But I remember one time when I was at spring training with the Phillies, and Steve Carlton was there, and Steve Carlton was famously didn't talk to the media. He had an argument with the Daily News columnist Bill Conlon at some point, and then he stopped. Well, I was interviewing some other young pitcher, and I'm sitting here as you were there, and Steve Carlton is not much further away, and he gets up and walks away. I mean, he's getting dressed. I'm like, really? You know, like how? What am I going to do? I have cooties? I don't understand. so I mean, you would have thought, as great a pitcher as he was, he could have made a gazillion dollars in endorsements and everything else. And I mean, it might not have been something he thought of, but
well, I'll give you a quintessential Philadelphia athlete. He was only a 250, 260 hitter. Aaron Rowan runs into a fence, breaks his nose, holds onto the ball. That's it. Philadelphia Hall of Fame.
Loves him. Right.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Philly fans will always love the hustling player. I mean,
and if it's a great,
if they're terrible, if
right.
they're a 210 hitter and they're running into
if it's a Hall of Fame player but vicious that breaks a guy's ankle in hockey with his stick, like Bobby Clark, now he's on the Mount Rushmore because of that. That's what we want. All right, Philadelphia foibles and everything else in the news here on Dom Time with our two guests tonight. We continue. Hey, welcome back to Dom Time. My time and a timeout to tell you what I think of the big issue of the day, Egypt. I went to Egypt many years ago, and I'll never forget, even on a tour with other Americans, a guy who got our attention on shore. We're in a ship that's headed down the Nile, and just because a person went, no, I don't want to buy this off you, the guy thought they had our attention and jumped into the river, swimming, holding up these artifacts. It's a very poor country, a very big country, and a very important country. And President Morsi, who's been ousted by the military, was not ruling democratically. Now, it's a difficult bind. There's no good situation there for the United States. The only thing that we can hope to do is to make sure that the violence in Egypt doesn't spread to Israel and other nations in the Middle East. No real good solutions, but the best one might be elections in the near future. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. Join me every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Dom Time.